What's going on, guys? This is me Ron and welcome to the new video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to insert, delete and update in SQLite database using Android programming, or I'm going to create a simple Android application which can do insert, delete and update operation using SQLite database. The thing is same. So without furthermore any explanation, let's do it. Open up Android Studio, go to File, click on New and then click on New Project. Give the name of your application and then click on Next. Select phone and tablet and select any Android version you want and click Next. Select empty activity, click Next and then click Finish. Gradle build successfully. Now expand this app directory, again expand resource, again expand layout, and we are going to design a simple UI. Or you can remove it, just press delete. Now drag and drop plain text over your layout. 1, 2. Let me arrange it. There you go. We drag and drop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plain text. That is for first one is for ID and name and address and phone and finally email. Now go to common, drag and drop button, 3 button. For insert, delete and update. Remember that I am using Android version 3.1.2. You should use 3.1.2 or later version. If you using a different version or older than 3.1.2, you may have a different UI and a different menu in your Android Studio. You may face many problems. So I recommended to use Android version 3.1.2. Now select this text and you have to change the property. Here you can provide a hint like enter ID and change the ID so that you can remember while writing the code. Here goes txt ID and you can erase this text, and also you can increase the font size like text size like 25. Similar process for all text. Remove this text. You can enter the hint like name and change the ID txt name and size 25. Txt add hint address and size 25. Here goes phone, txt phone. It is the text. Enter the hint phone or enter your phone, whatever you want, and the size is 25. And finally, here goes txt email. Delete the text and enter the hint email and size 25, and select this button, change the button text to insert, and button ID to btn insert. Here goes btn delete dlt and text to delete, and finally btn update. Here goes update. That's it. We just create a simple UI. Now here you may see the problem. In order to overcome this problem, here you can see one icon that is constant, infer constant. Click that. That's all. Now we need to create the database. While you are doing a project in other programming language like C#, Java, PHP, you are going to use either SQL database or MySQL database. And it's very easy to create the database in those platforms because there is a GUI, and right click new database and create table, and then give the name of the column and save blah blah blah. And later you are going to use the connection string to connect your application with those database. But in the case of Android, we are going to write the SQL query inside our .java file. So we are going to add new Java class in our Android application, and inside that Java class we are going to write the code, and that could define our database schema. So expand this Java class. Again, expand this top folder and right click over that top folder, click on new, click on Java class, and give the name of the class like database helper and click OK. Now we need to extend this Java class with the SQLite open helper because it is useful while upgrading your application, and it has to synchronize method, that is get writable database and get readable database. And we need to use this get writable database method and get readable database method because we need to insert something in our database and we need to read something from our database. So extend SQLite open helper. There you can see red underline, and it says you need to implement the method. So move your cursor over that line and click that line, and from the keyword click Alt and Enter simultaneously and click on implement method and click OK. Select method and click OK. Again you will see the red underline, and it says you need to implement the constructor. So again same process, move your cursor over that line and click, and from the keyword Alt and Enter, press Alt and Enter simultaneously and click create constructor and then click OK. Now inside this class we are going to define the database schema. The database schema defines how the database is organized, and it says what is the database name, what is the table name, what are the columns. So let's create the database. First of all, public static final string and database name is equal to idu.db. You need to write .db extension, and we are going to use static final to create the constant. Simply copy this and paste over here, and here goes the table name, table underscore name, and you need to remove this .db extension. And we are going to create the column. So paste 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here cols underscore 1, and the first column is ID, and here goes cols underscore 2, here goes cols underscore 3, here goes cols underscore 4, here goes cols underscore 5. This is the variable name. You can give whatever you want. And here goes name, here goes address, here goes phone, and finally here goes email. These are our column name. Now I am going to edit this constructor, remove this constructor parameter, and here goes our database name. And here goes like factory null, and here goes version 1. Now inside this onCreate method, we are going to execute the SQL query. So db dot exec SQL, and here we are going to write the SQL query, that is create table one space, and outside these double quotes table name, again plus sign space and two double quotes, inside two double quotes two parentheses, and inside that parentheses id is integer and it should be primary key and it should be auto incremented, and name should be text, and then address should be text, and phone should be text, and finally email should be text. That's it. Now inside the onUpgrade method, what we are going to do is, if this table is already exist in our database, we need to remove that table. So db.exec drop table if exist space, here goes table name, and we need to create this table. So call this onCreate method. There goes db. That's it. We just create our database, and here is the database name. Here you can see, here is our table name, here is our columns. These are our columns, and here we execute our SQL query. Now go to main activities.java file, and here we need to declare our control. So first of all, button underscore btn insert underscore btn delete underscore btn update, and we need to declare our text box. So edit text underscore txt name, first of all id underscore txt name underscore txt address add underscore txt phone and underscore txt email, and we need to create the object of SQLite open helper. So SQLite open helper and SQLite database db. Because we are going to use insert delete and update method, so we need to create the object of SQLite database. Now inside this onCreate method, we are going to initialize our control. So btn insert is equal to button find view by id r.id.btn insert. The ID is what we define in the .xml file. So select this insert button, and here you can see ID is btn insert, and similar for text box. Select the text box and we give the ID txt ID. So go back to main activity, and so similar for all other button in the text box. So btn delete is equal to button find view by id r.id.btn delete. underscore btn update is equal to button find view by id r.id dot btn update. Similar process for text box as well. Underscore txt id is equal to ed text find view by id r.id dot txt id. Now txt name is equal to ed text find view by id r.id dot txt name. Underscore txt address is equal to ed text find view by id r.id dot txt address. Underscore txt phone is equal to ed text find view by id r.id dot txt phone. Txt email is equal to ed text find view by id r.id dot txt email. We just initialize our control. Now we need to create the object of database helper class because we need to insert something in our database and we need to go through this class. So open helper is equal to new database helper and the parameter goes context is this. Now we need to create the listening event of our insert button. First of all, we are going to insert something in our database and then we are going to delete that information and we are going to update that information. So underscore btn insert dot set onclick listener, there goes new view dot onclick listener. Now we are going to define some variable that store the user input value. So string name, we don't need to insert id because id is auto incremented. So string name is equal to underscore txt name dot get text dot toString. String address is equal to underscore txt address dot get text dot toString. String phone is equal to underscore txt phone dot get text dot toString. And finally string email is equal to underscore txt email dot get text dot toString. And we need to write something in our database, so we need to ready our database in the writing mode. So db is equal to open helper dot get writable database so that we can write something in our database. Now outside this uncreated method but inside our class, what we are going to do is we are going to define one method. So outside this uncreated method we are going to create one method public void in the method name insert data. In the argument or parameters of this method are string name. We don't need to pass the id because id is auto incremented. So string, here goes address, string, here goes phone, and finally string, here goes email. Now inside this method we are going to use the content value class. The content value class led us to put information inside an object in the form of key value pair for column and their values. The object can then be passed to the method like insert, update or delete of an instance of the SQLite database class. I'm going to show you. You may not understand without showing you, so I'm going to show you content value. This is the content value class and create the object of this class. So content value is equal to new content value. And we are going to use the object of this class, that is content value. Dot, we are going to put the information, so dot put, and we are going to pass the information in the form of key value pair. So we create our database in database helper class. So we need to go through this class. So database helper dot, and in which column we are going to insert the value is column 2, that is name, and this is the key. The key means the column name and the value means the name. So you can simply copy this and paste 4 times, 2, 3, 4, and you just need to change the key, that is the column name. Here goes 3, that is address. Here goes 4, that is phone, and here goes 5, that is email, and the value is, here goes address, here goes phone, here goes email. Now I'm going to define a variable long id or whatever you want to define is equal to db dot insert, and here goes the database helper dot, in which table we are going to insert it, table name, and here goes null. Null means if you want to insert empty row, you need to pass the column name over here, but we are going to insert the value. So here goes null, and here goes the content value. That's all. Now call this method inside the listing event of this button. So here goes insert data, and after inserting data, we need to display the message to the user. Before doing this, we need to pass the parameters. So here goes name and address and phone and finally email. Now we need to display the message to the user. So toast dot make test, here goes get application context, and the text is insert successfully. And toast dot length long dot show. That's all. Now run this application. Now you can run your application in various devices, like you can create one virtual device in Android Studio and run this application in the Android Studio built-in devices, or you can use the third party like Zenimation. I'm going to use Zenimation, or you can run this application in your real devices, but I'm going to use the Zenimation. And remember that the API of the devices should equal to 22 or below 22. Select this device and click OK. Activity launch. Now you don't need to enter the ID. Now enter the name like address, phone number, and email, and click on insert. Now message display inserted successfully. Now we need to check whether this information inserted in our database or not. So for this, in order to see the database, you have to install one application, that is DB browser for SQLite. And if you are using older version of Android Studio, you need to go to tools, and here goes you may see Android and Android device monitor. But in my case, that is I am using Android Studio version 3.1.2. Now in the right bottom corner, you may see device file manager. Click that device file manager, click on data. Again you may see the data folder, so again click that data and scroll down. You need to find your application name. Scroll down, and our application is this one. So again expand this, you may see the database folder. Expand that database folder and database name. Right click over that database name and click on save it. And you need to save somewhere, like I'm going to save inside music folder, but whatever location you want to save, select your folder and click OK. Now open that application, that is DB browser for SQLite. Now click on file, click on open database, and music folder, select your database, click open, and go to browse data, and there you can see, and you need to select your table. That is, there may be other table, but you need to select your table, and there you can see there is one data inserted in our database. ID is 1, name is this one, address this one, phone this one, email this one. So that's it in this first part, guys. I will see you in the second part. In second part, I am going to show you how to update and delete this data using our codes. So see you in the second part.